Welcome, everyone. Welcome to this self-healing, self-cleansing session. So let's begin by getting ourselves in this nice mental state. We're going to go into a meditative state, a trance state, a journeying state. So just come on in and relax, okay? So let's go ahead and start with some breath. And if you want to follow my hand movements, feel free to do so. So just inhale. Exhale. Another breath. Exhale. One more breath. Exhale and release. Keep on going. The purpose of this is to bring movement into the body. It is to connect our energy with our physical body. Sometimes our energetic practice can be very sedentary, so we want to bring movement and connection and reminder of utilizing those muscles and those tissues and all of that energy within our body, okay? So if you feel comfortable, you can bring your hands to your face. You don't have to touch your face. It's just like this. What you're doing is one of two things. You're focusing your energy or you're feeling your energy. So it's whatever feels most comfortable for you. So here it is. Just inhale. Exhale. Another breath. One more breath. As you continue to do this, just remember that you can breathe as deep or as shallow as you like, and it is for you. So you don't always have to see your healing practice as something that someone outside of you does. It is always lovely to treat yourself, to be pampered. But it's important to have our daily self-care as well. Take another breath. Exhale. It also helps you with your confidence. It helps you with your energy. So just continue to move through here. So now, as you can see, I'm just working with the energy. And to describe the sensations that it brings is that now that I'm connected, I'm in that meditative state, that trance state, on a very light level. I then feel that movement around my body, especially when I'm taking my hands, which are very important for healing, and just going around my energy. I feel it. Now, this is no pressure to feel anything. You can feel nothing at all. Sometimes I like to focus, especially when I'm teaching, on the breath. Just send the breath where you need it to go. And keep on inhaling and exhaling here. Releasing through. Now this is a lovely experience for yourself because you can do this at any time. Whenever you need something like this, whenever you need to just feel refreshed, I want you to empower yourself to know that you have that energy within you. Okay? So what I'm doing is I'm just cleansing and clearing over. Just cleansing and clearing over. And I like to say you hear a little snap, crackle, and pop because it's my joints. So just inhale, exhale, and release. Now, I like to just place the hands up. You could do it like this, like this, like this. Whatever feels comfortable. Sometimes I like to rest the elbows as well. It's not to stress yourself out. And I just like to receive. I'll say things like life. I receive, I'm open, I'm grateful. Just give me what I need. Or shower me with healing, shower me with abundance. Whatever it is, your flavor of the week or your flavor of the day. Or it could also just be gratitude. Thank you, life. I'm so appreciative for all that you provide. I'm appreciative to be in this moment. And just remember, it's not always about stuff and getting things or even goals. Sometimes it's just enjoying living in this moment. It is important to work towards things, but it's important to just exist without any parameters, without any prerequisites, without any I'm working towards this. Just live. Enjoy this moment. Inhale, exhale. Now, if you're familiar with the gratitude community that I've had on Discord for many years, or even the My People community that we have in our own space, we have a gratitude chat. This is so important in changing your energy. Just being in gratitude. It didn't require anything. It didn't require your life to magically come together to be grateful. So just inhale. Exhale. Thank you, life. Thank you for all of these things. I trust you. Cleanse me. Release. Ask for whatever you want. And really, just don't be surface level with this. I need X, Y, and Z. Just cleanse my soul. Cleanse my energy. Cleanse my karma. Cleanse my mind. Move and remove these things. Take me to a different place in my energy and my spirit. Because half of the things that we're dealing with, that we're battling with, that we need to remove and we need to cleanse in our life, most of that stuff is mindset. Sometimes when you change your mind, nothing else is really changed in your life, but you feel better. For example, if you're someone who worries about money, having a different mindset or being in a different situation of, I'm looking at money differently now, will help you to alleviate some of that stress associated with money or health or all these things. As you're working towards these things, it does not negate working towards them. Adding that extra stress in your life is never good for your health. Why? Because when we are stressed out, our body becomes inflamed. It's just a process. We have the stress of you get hurt, you get a little cut, it gets inflamed, okay? And that is your immune system. That is, all those white blood cells coming to that area. And then it gets, as I said, inflamed as a protective measure. But we get stressed out internally too. It is from our evolution, okay? Our evolution of things. The reason why we get stressed out is way back in evolution of the hominids. We would be stressed out. There would be some type of predator or predator situation. So when we increased that stress in our body, we're stressed out, our body would release glucose. It would raise the glucose in our body, release that, so our muscles would have enough energy to get up out of there. But we have evolved so fast and so quickly that now in our everyday life, we have stressors that don't necessarily pertain to fight or flight. With that being said, it creates issues of glucose. We have a time of abundance of non-nutrient processed foods, which also exacerbate that situation. So this little bit of stress that just feels very simple of I'm just stressed out, then creates a whole thing of complex other stuff, other metabolic issues, just stress on the body, on the heart, on the mind. It's not just a very simple thing. It's very much tied to your overall health. We've heard of people being very stressed out and it impacting their heart, being very stressed out and it impacting the rest of their body. There's no difference. So doing this allows you to just in your own little way calm yourself down. I promise you. Okay? Your problems are never that big enough to hurt your physical body, okay, by stressing out. Okay? You're going to solve this. There's going to be a new problem. So what you should do is just learn how to let it go. Learn how to release. And I promise you, when you're by yourself, it's much easier. You could do that. But when you get into environments in which it's high stress, what's the environments? Work, family, community. You have to start to make changes in your energy and in your surroundings to support a balanced level of peace. I'm a very peaceful person. I've always been a very peaceful person. I've had people tell me before, sometimes I just try to want to get a reaction from you because you're so peaceful. And I'm like, you suck. Why would you want to do that? Why would you want to do that? It doesn't mean that I don't get upset or I don't get moved to express how I feel. You know, I don't believe that you should hold those things in, but I let it out and I move on. I'm not someone who's, I'm going to let it out. I'm going to hold it. I'm going to stay in this energy. No. If it's coming up to come out, and you release and you let it go. Don't hold it in. You don't have to be super nice. Blah, 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 blah. No. Let it go and you move on. Something irritates me, I'm going to say, okay, that's irritating. You know, speak it. You don't want to have things heavy on your chest because that changes you energetically. So now we're going to talk about the energy, the esoteric aspects, your energy, your chi, your ki, your ashe. You know, depending on the tradition, we're going to call it something different. It's your life force energy, the things that move you or keep you connected in your body. When you force things and you say, I'm not going to say what I need to say, or I'm going to push things down, or I'm trying to be this or create this illusion of whatever you are, what happens is it suppresses your energy. And when your energy is suppressed, it starts to throw other things off. The same example of creating stress in your body, creating that inflammation in your body, then other things are thrown off. Okay, so it's just understanding our body. So everything we do, from balancing our energy to what we eat to getting adequate health care, are all things to take care of ourselves. If you know me, you know that I am one that I will get all the health services that I have available to me. I am not a person that only believes in one way or the other way. You utilize what you have in front of you. Because what I realize is that on your path, especially if you get into intuitive work, on your path, there will be many people here in many different forms that will help you on your healing journey. Conventional medicine, alternative medicine, esoteric healing, all kinds of things. But typically there's not a one, you're here and it's the end. Everything is typically a stepping stone. You're going to be on this healing journey for the rest of your life. It's okay. Because sometimes after you get past the traumas of things, you get to the other side of, okay, what is wellness? What is taking your body to the next level? What is training your body? When I say taking your body to the next level, I'm not saying, it's always more, more, more. I'm saying, what is something that you would have liked to do that maybe you never thought that you could have done? Okay. And so that creates a new level of wisdom, of discipline, of training, of connectedness with yourself. So just continue to breathe in. Sometimes I like to just take my hands right here into my heart and just inhale and exhale. So I'm feeling myself, I'm connecting to myself. And the biggest struggle on this journey when it comes to energy work is learning that the power and the energy comes from inside and not outside. You'll want to go to someone else. You'll want to go to a practitioner. You'll want to see something else to change something in you. But even when I work with clients and students, I am creating or facilitating an environment in which people are going in and doing the work themselves. Even if I'm moving things around, it is to guide and show them how to do this for themselves. But it becomes very hard to do it for yourself. It's okay. It's normal. Everybody feels that way. It's okay. But you show up for your self-care. It's not complicated. But life just happens. We have things that stimulate us, that engage us very quickly. That things that bring us calm and peace, they can kind of fall by the wayside. So just hold this energy. And for me, I like to walk around. I will walk around my house and just breathe in and out. I'll take a walk outside too. I usually like to walk when it's almost like the sun is going down. I used to walk early in the mornings where it was baking outside. And I would come in the house and I'm exhausted from the day. So I like to walk when the air is cool and I can just feel the energy. And just walking. I'm not doing no running. If you're a runner, love that for you. Love that for you. But I just get my walk on. Take my time, low impact. I'm good for the next day. I don't have to do a lot of recovery. So just breathing in and out. So as you're inhaling and exhaling here, I want you to feel connected with yourself. You're going to say things to yourself like, I am safe. I'm okay. It's okay to be here. It's okay to be in this moment, in this body, in this season, in this essence. Find that power within you. That is really, I don't want to use the word, the secret. That is really the trick to all this. That is really the understanding of all this. That when you find what's in here, you're able to do so much more. So I'm going to give you a couple cheat codes in life real fast. We're living in a particular time of information freedom, okay? Information, let me not say freedom, information availability, because freedom might say that all the information out is maybe of a higher quality, and that's not necessarily the case. We have great quality information, and we have very low quality information as well. But we live in a time of accessible information. That means with all this information at one time that cannot necessarily be controlled in this moment, that means there's really no one in control of things. I would get into a political example, but I'm not going to get too deep for y'all right now. Okay, we're going to keep it right here. So with that being said, there are no, I'm going to say gatekeepers. There's no gatekeepers of the information. There's no one who can tell you who you are, how to do things, how you should present. There are people who are trying, but there's so much information available. People are seeing things that have always existed but are available to them at all times. No one can say here someone's in or someone's out. With that being said, you can be and do whatever you want to do. You can be who you are. You don't have to just be one thing. You can be multiple things. Now, I will warn you on when you're trying to do multiple things. If you're trying to do all these things at one time, it's going to take longer to make progression, and typically people will not see that through. So just do a few things. That's okay. Just do a few things. That's fine. You don't have to do all of this, okay? And you will feel behind when you're doing a few things, because everything is going to be shiny and flashy and fast, that naive energy when you're excited. But let me tell you, things that burn bright, burn fast, okay? Just slow down. Trust in yourself. I believe I should do this. I believe I should do that. I should believe I should do this. It's going to come with its ups and downs. And sometimes it's not even the down part. For me, it is the boring part that gets me. When it's not bad and it's not, exciting. It's just, that's okay. The middle, beginner and expert, that's kind of like beginner is a little bit of time. Expert is, it's a coast, but this middle part, that's most of the journey. So learn how to do that, but understand mentally you have to unlock yourself. You have to free yourself. You have to remove anything that is in your path. Now that information is flowing so freely, do it now. Be who you are. You're not ever going to live up to the expectations of who you need to be and make everybody happy at all times. Everyone is trying, I'm not going to say everyone, but people are trying to make everyone happy at all times because they're so visible at all times. You're visible, in your different online world at all times. You're trying to grow and do it in a perfect way. No, when you grow, it looks sloppy. It's okay. So take your time. You're not going to make everybody happy. Just work on balancing yourself. You're not even going to make yourself happy most of the time. Just work on balancing yourself and trust in this path that you're going, okay? So we're going to bring it back here. We're going to feel it. Now I want you to bring your hands right here. It's where your stomach is, okay? So right here, where the top of that rib meets, okay, in your stomach. That is where, it is said that your life force energy lives. Your digestive system is so important. In modern times, it's important, but we don't really think about it energetically. In the esoteric world, the energy world, we're always talking about what's up here? How do we connect to the highest? We're always talking about third eye. We'll talk about the heart, but we're not, or the solar plexus, which is important, but we're not really talking about our digestive system. It's so important. It digests the things that keep us alive. It is where 70% of our immune system lives due to our microbiome. It is where that chi, so that life force energy that flows throughout the body, that different wisdom traditions explain to us, exists. So this is important. It's also when we're talking about our upper abs, our abdominal. If you suffer from any kind of lower back issues, it's often said to work on that core as well, to strengthen that. So working on the core. And when you work on your core, you're working on that confidence of you. So we're holding this energy. And just be at peace. You can ask for whatever you want to ask for, but just honestly right here in this moment, just be at peace. And I'm just at peace. 3 more breaths. 2 more. And exhale and release. Okay, I hope that this has brought you a good feeling. I'm often told it feels good, it feels good to connect with yourself. So I hope this brings you a good feeling. I hope this is a reminder, though, to show up for yourself. The session doesn't have to be this long. It could be 5 minutes. I used to teach yoga back in the day, and I used to tell everyone a 5-minute yoga practice is all you need is 5 minutes. It's better than nothing. Do a couple sun salutations, you're good. And people would do it and they would like it, but the allure of the the common communities of the time of doing the hour and 30 minutes every day and ... Okay, but it wasn't sustainable. They let it go. Just remember, when you do things sustainably, 1 minute, 5 minutes a day, and you do that long enough, it's not hard to add on another minute. It's not hard to add on another 5 minutes. Then, you get that 10 minutes. I say that within the meditative practice, so your meditation practice too, a couple minutes, a couple moments, just a couple breaths. It doesn't have to be technical. I pull out my, my timer and I like to say it like this: thank you, life. Please cleanse and heal me. You be in the shower, cleansing, all that cleansing energy, please cleanse and heal me and release. Because then you're working with elements there. You're working with water. If you light things, you're working with that smoke, or you're working with fire, you're working with air, or you're working with earth. Say you are a gardener or all of these other things. You're working with the things that you have available to you. And so it is okay to utilize that. It does not require you to go out and buy a bunch of things so you can. It does not require you to have a particular herb. I've said it for a long time. You can go and look in your cabinet. Now, if you don't know how to cook and you don't buy herbs, then maybe you do have to go. But you can find a lot of the herbs you need in the cooking section. You don't have to go far. And repurpose a lot of things. A lot of the herbs that I like to use for different practices, for different things that I'm doing, I'll get right out the cooking section. Most likely the international section, because it's cheaper. You can buy things in bulk. And it's at the right quality. So this whole process of taking care of yourself, of connecting to the energy that feels right to you, whatever that is for you, is your own journey, and it's accessible wherever you're at. It doesn't require anything except for you and your physical body in this moment. I hope that you bring movement into it, or do whatever is accessible to you. But in that moment, bringing yourself into the space, bringing yourself into the energy, and just inhaling and exhaling. And let me tell you something before we go. There is nothing that is worth stressing yourself out for indefinitely. okay? If there is something that is stressful, it is what it is. Keep it pushing, keep it moving. Because I guarantee you have had many things that have stressed you out in your life, but yet here you are in the flesh today, living your life. So don't let the little things stress you out. And the reason why these things stress you out is just habit. You have to unlearn a lot of these things. And it's just habit. So having those little peaceful meditative or movement sessions or going for a walk each day can be very helpful in your physical body, in your internal body. And then the secondary is your environment. The people, situations, and circumstances you are around will dictate if you're able to do that. So sometimes as you are cleansing and making changes, people you don't expect will be very supportive. People that you would hope would be, may not be. And you have to learn how to do things on your own. Okay? You're not going to be alone. You're not going to be lonely. You're not going to be alone forever. You have to do things on your own. And so many people are afraid to do things on their own. They're afraid to be alone. They're afraid to go out, learn who they are, and establish a new community, which will have a period of solitude built into it, that they'll stay in those same stressful environments. Take the risk. It's okay to work on yourself. You may feel sad from time to time, but it pushes you to find a community that connects you, or do what I did. You just make the community. You make it and really value the people. One person, two person, three people. It is not hard to make community on the internet. Don't be starstruck and think, oh, you gotta have thousands of people, millions of data. You don't. You know, having one or two real people is all that really matters. And tertiary, what you eat. What you eat really matters. You know, what you choose to eat is fine. What your particular diet is that's up to you. But understanding how food impacts your body, your physical body, your mood. Okay. I'm a big proponent of understanding how insulin stimulating foods impact your body. Understanding how processed foods, because, you know, we have evolved to be able to consume the natural foods that we have, but we even still struggle with that. Like, we've been eating grain for 20,000 years, and we still struggle with trying to eat that. A lot of it because of how we cross-produce agriculture, or how we evolve agriculture to strip away the bran or the fiber to make it more glucose rich. But even with that, we still, our bodies are used to, you know, hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years of adapting. You know, like even with meat, you don't have to eat meat if you don't want to, or you can only eat meat if that's your thing. But even with meat, you know, we've had millions of years, even going through the branches of our evolution, to have access to meat. Were we the best hunters that we were eating meat every day? Likely no. But that's with all kinds of foods, you know, even understanding the therapeutic aspects of fasting in the spiritual terms, which we see in wisdom traditions, fasting in the medicinal terms, which we see that typically have to do with water fasting. I've never seen a dry fast in a medicinal reason, and typically that is because dry fasting means you're fasting and you're not taking in any liquids as well. Our physical body, we store body fat. You know, we have a body fat percentage. We store body fat so that if there is, because we've evolved for, you know, our species has evolved for hundreds of thousands, if not millions of years, and even in that evolution of the hominins, just millions of years, we've developed an ability to store body fat so that if there is ever starvation, which has been normal in the human experience, that there are periods of starvation, that we're able to tap into that body fat to use as energy. And so our body, you know, goes through ketosis and all of that stuff. Okay. We need liquid though. So our body can go on and on and on. it has this, depending on your stored fat, but you have to have water. If you don't have water, you won't be able to survive. So with that being said, it is very important to take in water in your body. And so there are medicinal purposes for how we eat as well, but it's always and 100% okay to talk to your doctor, your endocrinologist. I am a person who works with energy. I'm a person who loves nutrition, and I'm a person who supports very strongly the working with conventional, alternative, energy, all of this stuff, whatever you need for your body. I think, what is the purpose of having all of these things if we don't utilize it when we need it and honor it? We're honoring these things. We're remembering these indigenous traditions that we come from with this wisdom, because sometimes in modern medicine, we try to reproduce what is already there. So why not utilize the great, modern technological advances, as well as the simple things as well that we can utilize in our body. So getting to that tertiary example of saying that what we eat matters. So if you're constantly eating all day, and it might be a mechanism to feel better about the stresses, that's probably not helping, because what ends up happening is that it most likely with the foods you're eating is going to spike your insulin. And having an elevated insulin is going to make you continue to crave foods, mostly like very sugary, carb kinds of things. And most of those things are very much so processed. And so because you're going to crave that, it's going to create this cycle. And then eventually, if you live a sedentary life, it just creates a whole lot of things. So what I would say is to narrow that in. Eat whatever it is you want to eat, but just narrow that in. You don't have to eat all day. This is a relatively new phenomenon that we eat. And I know that in the different communities where I will talk about eating, and people are like, I just want to work on my energy. What are we talking about food for? I like to demystify things and decultify. There's so many cults, the cults of keto, the cults of this, the cults of that even though, our body goes through a mechanism of ketosis, or even though, it is good to eat green vegetables, or to eat, cruciferous vegetables, or, all of these things, people are so looking for community, and they're so looking for identity, that they don't use maybe the best judgment of what is best for their particular body. I've said this many times about sea moss. There's nothing wrong with sea vegetables. They're okay. Sea vegetables are very nutritious, but we run the risks of things in the seas. It's like if you look at the can of tuna, it tells you, if you eat a lot of tuna, you got to be careful of mercury poisoning or heavy metal toxicity. What does that happen when you have too much heavy metal in your system? It starts to mess with your neurological functions, all of these things. So with that being said, you have to be mindful. It's not that the tuna itself is bad, it's that the sea. Now you have vegetables that grow in there absorbing that. So you have that. You don't really have the mechanism consistently to know how much of these things that are going to be in the plants that you're used. And then taking that to the side and just focusing on the plant itself, it would be advantageous for some to utilize something like sea moss, Irish sea moss. Someone who maybe is low in iodine. These sea vegetables are filled with iodine. Someone who's low in iodine, maybe someone who has an underactive thyroid, things like that. But there are contraindications. For example, if you are on thyroid medication and you have a low thyroid, that is an issue, because it will exacerbate the effect of eating this. Meaning, if you're doing something to regulate your thyroid, it takes it to another level. So it could create the opposite issue. So not having that awareness, it's okay. You can utilize any of this stuff, but you can inform yourself and talk to your doctor at the same time. And the people who really run a great risk is those who have a hyperactive thyroid, in which if they're introducing all this iodine, all of the sea vegetables, it may create other issues. You might see a sense of bulging of the eyes and just these signs of a hyperactive a thyroid. So it's very important. It's very simple. You just go to an endocrinologist. If you have access. If you don't have access, you would use these things cautiously. And whenever someone is coming to you and telling you it's a miracle, the only miracle is water. And, half of that is poison most of the time. So understanding where you can get nice, purified, filtered, whatever that is, a type of water that you need. You just have to do things based off of what's best for your body. And so what people struggle with is they struggle with doing things on their own. You got to find your own ways. Doesn't mean that things aren't healing. Doesn't mean that these lovely vegetables aren't good for us. They're very nutritious. But you have to work with your medical providers, with your healthcare providers, and with your own common sense, okay? There's many times that I've gone on this journey and someone has told me, oh, this is what you need. And I'm like, I'm telling you, this is what I need, and da-da-da-da-da. So I always like to say that you're the captain of that. Okay. So I hope that this session has provided you some nice balanced clarity and given you understanding of how to work with your body. It's not just the one thing. It's not just the energy work. It's not just the food. It's not just the environment. It's bringing all these things together. And I'm going to encourage you over and over again to learn how to do things on your own. Learn how to do the research, to take your time to ask questions, to be in, kind of many different groups and circles, whether that's in person or online, so that you know what's best for you. And listen to your body. It's just that. So I hope you utilize these things. I hope this felt really, really good for you. And I hope you show up for yourself and you feel nice and connected in yourself. Okay. So if you'd like to stay connected, you can go to thempcommunity.com. That is our community where we do a lot of stuff. So that is a place where we connect. I host a lot of events. And it gives us an opportunity to connect with our practice. It is important for me to focus on the mind, the physical body, the food, the energy, the spiritual aspects. As you know, I am not someone who will tell you what to think, who to think, and what you believe. I don't care. I've been said that for years. I don't care. That's your business, okay? But I love community, and I love creating a community space where people come and feel very comfortable there. And I felt what was lacking is an ability to facilitate a space without creating a cult. Without creating an environment of, you got to think this way, okay? The only things that I require is respect and, using some good common sense. Just research. Let's just be open to things changing and learning more. But at the end of the day, you know what's best for your body. I know what's best for mine. You know what's best for yours. So come and enjoy this space where you can just be, you can grow in many ways. So it's the mpcommunity.com. And love to see you there, as well as you can always see me at reikihealinghope.com, or as you've seen me on YouTube for ASMR. So I'll see you next time. Bye.